Hello, my dear students. I, Hina Kausar, welcome you again for the today's session. So, we have already finished the meaning, definition, characteristics of primary group and secondary group. This lecture for today is a briefing lecture, also, you can say, or very important lecture, that is differences between the primary group and secondary group for your understanding exactly how primary group and secondary groups are different with one another. We'll begin the differences that it is important to mention here that dichotomy between primary group and secondary groups was perceived by Cooley, but it was not elaborated by him. However, the following are the chief points of differences between the primary group and secondary group which we are going to discuss. First difference is of size. The primary group is small in size as well as area. The membership is limited to a small area. It is not spread over the whole world. At the other end, in the secondary group, the membership is widespread. It may contain thousands of members scattered in different parts of the world, as is the case with a corporation. I hope you have understood with the slide. You have to just remember the size, that primary group is small in size whereas secondary group is large in size. Primary group is limited to specific area whereas secondary group is widespread in nature. Next is physical proximity. Primary groups are based on close contacts. People in these groups do not merely know one another and interact frequently, but they know one another well and have strong emotional ties. Secondary groups do not give its members feeling of close proximity that primary groups give. In primary group, one is concerned with the other person as but as a functionary who is fitting a role. So students, I hope you have understood the physical proximity, that primary groups are close in contact whereas secondary groups are not close in contact. They are not. Next is duration. Primary groups exist for a longer period. Relationships in primary group are permanent in nature. Secondary groups, on the other hand, are based on temporary relationship. For example, member of a club infrequently and only for a few hours at a time. Students, primary group, you have to remember it is for longer period. Okay, the relationship are very much permanent in nature, like mother father, the relationship the child share with the mother or the father, which is permanent in nature. It is not for temporary, that you have grown up so now there is no relationship between the child and the mother. It is very much permanent in nature. But secondary, it change. Sometimes you are at this group, sometimes you are on another group. Your membership changes, so duration depends upon it. Next is the kinds of cooperation. In a secondary group, the cooperation with the fellow members is direct. The members cooperate only to achieve the objective of the group. Like in a company or in a college or in the school, when faculty members or teachers, they are having a direct cooperation, and the goal is what? To educate the kids or the children or the student. So they cooperate with one another to achieve the objective is what? To give education. Okay. But in a primary group, on the other hand, members directly cooperate with each other, participating in the same process. They sit together, discuss together, and play together. Whereas in the primary group, also we are finding the kind of cooperation where members they basically celebrate the joy and sorrow with one another. Next is types of structures. Every secondary group is regulated by a set of formal rules. A formal authority is set up with designated powers and a clear-cut division of labor, in which the function of each is specified in relation to the function of all the rest fellows. The primary group is based on a informal structure. The members participate in the same process. The spontaneous adjustment in the working of the group. No formal and detailed rules are drafted. The structure is simple. I hope you have understood these differences also, students, that secondary group is having the very much formal rules, whereas in primary group we are very much informal. Like for example, when your parent enters at home, you don't just get up and say good morning dad, good morning mom with formal way. We just wish our parents, we hug them, we meet them in a very much informal way. But as compared to that in the secondary group, employees or the employer and the colleague, they formally greet one another. So this is depend upon the type of structure. Next difference is end in itself versus means to an end. Primary groups are an end in themselves. Individuals enter into primary relations because such relations contribute to personal development, security and well-being. Whereas secondary group on the other hand is goal oriented. Membership is for some limited and well-defined objective. As the example for this, I would like to give you two students that your mother-child relation also you can say that they are end in itself because here the relation contribute for the development, personal development. The mother always think for the development of a baby or a child. They always there for the security and well-being of the kids or the child. So here the mother do not have any goal to get achieved and then just come out from that role. It is continue in nature. But secondary group, it is goal oriented. Once goal achieved, they go for the another goal. So it depends. So it is for the limited period. Okay. We'll go to the next, that is position. In primary group, the position or status of a person is fixed according to his birth, age and sex. But in secondary group, the position of a person is determined by his roles. For example, in the family, the position of person is based upon birth, whereas in a company, the position of the president depend upon the role he plays in the company. So, just remember the position also. The first you can remember in the short word also that ascribed. By your birth you have got the position, whereas in the secondary you have earned your position, you have earned your roles. Okay. Next difference is difference in the development of personality. Primary group is concerned with the total aspects personality of a person and it develops his whole personality. Secondary group on the other hand is concerned with a particular aspect of personality and it develops only that aspect. In this way, the qualities live, love, sympathy, obligation, mutual help and tolerance etc. flourish in primary groups. Secondary groups promote self-interest and individuality. We'll go to the next differences, that is what the relationships. The relationship of members with each other in primary group is direct, intimate and personal. They meet face to face and develop direct contacts. A secondary group is based on impersonal relationships. It does not exercise a primary influence over its members because they do not live in presence and thought of one another. They perform their jobs, carry out the orders, pay their dues, and contribute to the group interest. Still, may never see each other. Like in a company, employees hardly see or never see who is their main boss, owner of the company. Like for example, if you're working in Reliance company, so you never see, and every day you cannot meet the owner of the company like Ambani's. So the employee is appointed just to do their work, achieve the goal and go. Every day we cannot meet them, but in the family, if you see, we meet one another every day. So the relationship is very much face to face. Next difference is social control. The mode of requirement to the primary group is informal. Therefore, informal means of social control are more effective as members have closeness and greater intimacy. There is great control over a member. Neighborhood and family control is very complete control. Secondary group, on the other hand, uses formal means of checking deviation of violation of norms. Formal agencies of social control are more effective as formal relations exist between the members. Like for example, our family also teaches, guide us, control the behavior. They only taught us how to eat, drink, get up, sit, etc. Many small things. So basically they have controlled our behavior. We have learned so much from them, the moral values, etc. But on the other hand, secondary group, like we can take the example like law, constitution, where they control the individual to make sure that individual should not deviate, should not create violence in the society. So such social control is again very much important, and which we get from the secondary group. Okay. To conclude, terms primary group and secondary group thus describe a type of relationship and do not imply that one is more important than the other. So we cannot say a student that only primary group is important, only secondary is important. Both are important on their own places, and we as a member of a society are there in both the group, primary group and secondary group, and we learn, we maintain relationship, we having a great impact of primary group and secondary group on our life. I hope these differences have worked for you. You have understood, I'm sure, everything from this slide. Thank you so much. See you for the next video. Bye. Take care.